Hi, my name is Eric Clemenzi, and I run Clemenzi Music in Georgetown, Massachusetts. I want to create a series of interviews with people that I find inspiring. I'm calling the series Get Out of Your Own Way, and today I would like to feature Joe LeBlanc, also of Georgetown, Massachusetts. Joe's an amazing woodworker, but what makes his talents even more special is that he built this guitar that I'm holding without his eyesight. Let's go visit Joe and check out how he makes these things. So Joe, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for coming out. This is a pretty decent day. I'm glad.
Yeah, minus all the wind.
Exactly.
And it's kind of cold, but otherwise it's good. When did you start building guitars?
It was about a year into when I was married.
Mm-hmm.
I dropped my guitar pick into my guitar one day, and I stuck my hand in there, and I was amazed at all the bracing that was in there, and I was like, I wonder if I could ever build a guitar. I did a Google search, and I found a book. This is when my eyes were a little bit better. I could actually read the book. It was like the Bible for guitar building.
Sure.
And then I sought out a luthier, a guitar builder, who teaches you step by step how to make the guitars. And that was back in 1998,
Wow.
so a while ago.
When did you start having problems with your eyes?
I was born with an inherited eye disease that's slowly been wiping my vision out my whole life. When I was about 17 years old, I realized I wasn't seeing like other people. I was diagnosed as legally blind at the age of 17 because my peripheral vision was really constricted to the point where I couldn't qualify for a driver's license. And since that time, it's slowly shut down to the point where I just have a pinpoint of vision out of my right eye. I say I have enough vision to confuse people. Like, I really can't make eye contact with people.
Yep.
But if all the stars line up, I get some good information.
I know. So, Joe and I, we've been working together quite some time. Doing lessons and that kind of thing. And one thing that you always tell me is that your vision's kind of like looking through the end of a straw.
Yeah, that's a good example. Like the end of a straw. So you're not going to see much, but what you do see is kind of usable information. But it's like looking at a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, one piece at a time.
Right.
It's like real crazy. This is a measuring device for visually impaired people. It's I call it a click stop. They call it a click rule. But what it does is there's a 6-inch body shaft right here, and this right here pushes out a threaded rod. So every time you push it, it has a little click onto the threaded rod, and it clicks out 1/16 of an inch at a time.
Wow.
Click, 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 click. And the cool thing is every ½ inch, there's a special mark right here that you can feel really easily. So you don't have to count 10 clicks, to figure out what you're doing. You just count every ½ inch and you can measure out real quickly.
Wow, that's cool.
No pun intended, but I went through a very dark time in 2011. It was like the darkest time of my life. Kind of what is the meaning of life? Why do I have to even struggle with, what is life about? It was real hard time. But like anything, no storm lasts forever, but it took 4 years for me to come out the other side.
Right.
And I learned a lot in between then, and I regained my passion for woodworking, which I gave up for at least 6 years.
So one of the things that blew me away was a few months back. You came in, and you're like, Eric, I'm gonna build a guitar. And I'm like, are you kidding? Because, I have enough trouble operating tools without destroying myself, like a drill or a hammer or whatever. I'm not even allowed to own saws.
Right.
And I can see, and it's just a disaster,
Right.
And I was like, holy cow, this guy, he's amazing, So what Yeah, what got you into wanting to build a full-on guitar?
A full on guitar. I had the great experience of success of doing wooden flutes, and I reintroduced myself to how to measure as a non-visually, and that was the biggest thing. Like, a lot of things take accurate measurement, and I had no way of getting accurate to a 16th of an inch. You know, this is the shape of the body. So what you need is a big blank piece of wood, thickness of the body, and then I take this and I tape this to the blank piece of wood, and I can trace it with a router. For those of you who don't know, a router looks like this right here, and it has a little bit on the end. Sometimes it has a little bearing guide and a cutting edge, and the bearing sits on the edge of the template and cuts it out. It cuts the one underneath it the exact same thickness.
Nice.
Of the template. It took me 1 hour to cut the whole body out of a square piece of wood.
Wow.
Several passes, and without screwing it up.
Sure.
And it popped out like a oven bake.
Nice.
Boom, yeah. There was snafus. It wasn't without error, you know.
Sure.
But nothing was non-repairable.
Right.
I was wondering if, since you're blind, does that make any of your other senses, like hearing or tasting, any stronger?
That's an excellent question. The direct answer is yes. Over the time, I've learned to not trust my eyes anymore, because the information I get will get me hurt. You know, if I think I see a stair or something and I'm not sure and I go to take it, I could go down a whole flight of stairs. So I trust my ears. My ears are my new eyes. And so when I'm in a room, I listen to the entrances and exits where people are coming in and out of, and that helps me to exit the room on my own without help. And when I'm walking down a corridor with my cane, and there's open doors in a hallway, my cane taps on the ground, and I can actually hear the difference of when there's an open door, because the sound sounds like it goes into the wall.
I imagine there was a certain point where you told us where you thought you were done, but you're not.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we have to allow for that time.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a transitional period. I'm not a super person. I don't wear a super uniform underneath my clothes.
I'm not sure about that. Joe's pretty super to me.
Well, I love following your heart, you know. And if your heart leads you, you'll do amazing things for your heart.
Right.
You know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you, Joe, and keep us posted on your other projects.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.